Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Bogey Bro Banter, the last show of the year. Last Bogey Bro Banter of the year. Next time we're on this mic, it'll be a new year. That's how that works.
2023. I feel like I was thinking about it the other day how, I feel like the years, once you get into a new decade, a few years, they kind of all just start blending together. I swear most of this year I had forgotten if it was 2021 or 2023 or 2022.
Well, I just went to look up because we're planning this test run through show tomorrow. That's very vague, I understand, but we're planning this test thing, and I need to look up the Las Vegas Challenge to plan this test. And I was like, I need to look up last year's Las Vegas Challenge, and I typed in 2021 Las Vegas Challenge.
Yeah, I feel like 2022 didn't exist.
And then I was so confused because I was like, what? Eagle didn't win. Was Eagle even there? And I was going through and I was like, oh, duh.
I was
about to be 2023 Las Vegas Challenge.
And it's crazy too because I feel like it was just yesterday that I was like, oh man, how are they going to make the glasses for New Year's Eve this year? Because it's 2010, so there's no longer two circles for the eye holes. That feels like it just happened where I was like, oh, what are they going to do for the glasses this year? They just put a hole in the one. That's what they did. But that was a big deal, man.
That was a big, I remember it.
Because, the companies that were making those things, they're probably sweating bullets. They're thinking, we've had a heck of a run here. I drive a nice car. We go on to all the nice vacations. Because
what were they doing for 1990?
They probably didn't start till 2000. 2000 came around and they're probably thinking, guys, I've got this idea.
No, I'm searching 1999 New Year glasses.
It definitely didn't. Well, I guess it could have, right? It could have just been in the hole
in the holes
of
the nines. But then the nines had to hang down so far. Oh, 2023s are hideous.
That's pathetic.
Can we start there?
That's pathetic.
Oh, these, they just put holes in the two.
I'm thinking they probably didn't start until the 2000s. Because, 2000...
No, there you go. They put the hole in the 9.
So that begs the question, how long have they been doing this? How long?
This guy's wearing 1991 on there.
How long have they been... So maybe since... Because they could have been doing it in the 80s. Maybe it started in the 80s. It sounds like an 80s thing. Because in the 70s...
I'm going to just search, when did New Year's glasses start?
Yeah. Dude, shutter shades. Do you remember those?
I do.
I keep seeing these TikToks of... they're just you see the aesthetic TikToks and it'll be childhood 90s kid aesthetic or certain era aesthetics. Well, I keep seeing ones that are 2010 to 2013 aesthetic, which is just hysterical, and those shutter shades fit right in there. And those years, man, those are some years. They were great years.
Dude, so they were the novelty eyeglasses and the numerical shapes were invented and patented by...
Patented?
Yeah. By Richard Sclafani and Peter Cicero in 1992, although other companies have produced similar versions. So there's an official novelty eyeglasses. There's official ones.
How do we find the official ones?
I don't know. Their glasses' inspiration and popularity arose from the fact that the two digits in the middle of the year number 9 and 0 from 1990 to 2009 had holes suitable for eyes to look through or mounting lenses onto.
Wow.
2009 is pretty brutal. Those are very wide.
I don't know why they made them so wide.
I don't either.
They didn't have to.
They did not have to. I think these are the official.
I don't think I've ever had...
I've never seen these.
I don't think I've ever even had any of those glasses. They are pretty goofy looking, though. It's such an interesting...
2000 was brutal, too.
Yeah.
They're so wide. You know what? Now that I see all of them, 2023s look pretty good.
I feel like the next really interesting year will be 2030, and that'll be a big one, though, because then... in 2030, we'll be able to talk about the 20s and not mean the 1920s.
Yeah, the roaring 20s.
And that's going to be fascinating. It'd be very weird having grown up because, our parents didn't experience that. So it's been a while since that's been a generational gap to where our kids will be in the 2050s or 60s or whatever, hopefully. And our kids will talk about the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, and in our mind, we grew up in those eras were in the 90s.
Yeah, if you hear roaring 20s were the 1920s.
And if somebody right now said to me, oh, that's totally a 40s thing. Well, obviously, I'm thinking the 1940s. the 2040s don't even exist.
Yeah.
But give it 7 years from now. What the heck?
Well, the only thing, like, I guess when referring to like the 1900 to 1910, no one ever refers to those years. I guess because now no one's alive that was alive during those years. So that's probably what will end up happening. Is like if I refer to 1910, I say 1910.
Yeah.
So like the 1910s, I call it that. Mm-hmm. Because the 2010s have happened. And plus, I don't know anyone there's no one on Earth that was alive in the 1910s. Well, 1910s were alive, but 1910
it also just doesn't roll off the tongue to say the 10s.
But I'm saying, like, I bet the 20s, as soon as like we get through this, at like the 1920s, when we get to 1930, someone had to be 110 years old to have been born in 1920.
Yeah.
So no one alive will remember the 1920s, basically. So anyone who says the 20s won't even think about it.
It's like a context.
It'll be like
thing.
the 1920s will only be heard about in the history books. Whereas like right now, the 20s, you could go find someone who, it's getting harder, but you could find someone born in the 20s.
Yeah, I guess it's a context thing because, like, if somebody asks you, like, when was, a certain historical event, and you say the 20s, they're probably going to be able to assume that you mean the 1920s based on what it is, the Great Depression, for example. I don't know. I hope I make it to 2076, America's 300th birthday. That'd be electric.
That'll be a rager.
That's electric. Not everybody gets to live during an America birthday.
I'll be 79.
Think because we were really born. We're like towards the end of the cutoff. Like you got about 10 more years. If you were born in the 90s, you have a solid chance of making it to the 300th birthday. But if you were born anywhere between 76 and 90, you probably aren't going to see an America birthday, and that's a bummer for you.
Yeah, my dad would have been...
What the heck could that be like?
My dad would have been...
Fireworks at the wazoo.
My dad would have been 12, I think, during the 200th birthday. I think. He was born in the 60s.
Yeah, my dad was 5.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. That's going to be hyped. I'm trying to think if there's any other, like, historically significant birthdays that'll happen. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, like, what do you mean by that? Like,
I don't know.
Because like outside of a country's birthday, what does he mean?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Because like historically significant, do you mean like a president's birthday?
Well,
that happens every year.
I feel like the Kentucky Derby's about to celebrate a big one.
Oh, you're saying like, when was Disney founded? We might live during Disney's like 100th.
Yeah,
that'd be a big thing to go to.
I feel like...
Is that going to be our thing? We just find like all the whatever 100th birthday. Oh, Disney was founded 100 years ago this upcoming year.
No shot.
They were founded October 16th, 1923. They're about to celebrate their 100th year.
That's incredible.
And October 16th of 2023.
I gotta find this.
Netflix is 25 years old right now.
25?
That's kind of crazy, right?
25 years old?
Yeah, it says
Netflix.
It says Netflix was founded...
That's not true.
August 29th, 1997.
What the frick were they doing back then? I didn't hear of Netflix until I was probably like 12.
Netflix was doing the... Netflix originally was like what Redbox is now.
Yeah, they did DVD rental through mail, but I didn't even hear of it until I was probably...
Yeah, founded in 1997.
School. What were they doing? Man, doesn't that put it into perspective, like the whole business thing? Because like Netflix, I didn't even know that they existed until I was probably like 10, 11, 12 years old. Like our business here has only existed for like 3 years. We could be Netflix in 25 years. But like it's crazy how there are so many businesses that like the first 5 years of their company are very small and then become like Netflix-sized businesses. Like they probably weren't even thinking. It's crazy.
Dang. So Netflix's revenue in 2021 was $29.7 billion. Their operating income, so basically what you take their like main cost of goods, was $6.19 billion. And then once you factor out all that, basically they profited $5 billion in 2021.
Dang.
That's pretty wild. They have 223 million paid users as of 2022, October 2022. 223 million paid users.
Netflix did the best thing Netflix ever did was put so much effort into their originals because I think they probably knew that I think it took other companies way too long to make their own streaming platforms to take all the good stuff off of Netflix. And there's still a lot of good stuff, but like to get The Office off of there, the Parks and Rec, all that stuff. But Netflix put so much effort into their originals that they have shows that carry that platform just by being it's only.
I mean,
on Netflix.
even like Love is Blind.
Yeah,
it's electric.
And when they have movies, they can afford A-listers. I mean, clearly you see the revenue they make.
So apparently Netflix initially sold and rented DVDs by mail, but the sales were eliminated within a year to focus solely on the DVD rental business. And then in 2007, so when they were 10 years old, they introduced streaming media and video on demand, and then expanded into Canada in 2010, Latin America, and the Caribbean after that. And they entered the television production industry in 2013 with their first series, House of Cards. House of Cards was the first Netflix original.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And then in January 2016, it expanded to an additional 130 countries and operated in 190 countries total.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Kentucky Derby this year is 149. It's 150.
Is next year.
Didn't we just have the British Open just had one? Didn't the British Open just have their 150th or 100th or something?
I don't know. Warner Brothers, see when they were founded.
Yeah, they just had their 150th this past year.
Warner Brothers also turning 100 years old this year.
Dude,
2023
the early
is a year.
20s were bustling. I think we are just hitting that time of our country's history where big companies were founding themselves.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers Pictures was April 4th,
when does
1923.
Coca-Cola come into the picture? Probably before that.
Surely.
They've probably already done 100 years. Surely.
Let's see.
I think Coca-Cola is very old.
1892, Coca-Cola was founded.
So I'm trying to make it to year 200 for Coca-Cola. That's my goal. I got to make it to 93.
2092?
Because imagine the fire they're dropping for.
You get to you could probably get to 150 easy.
So they celebrated 100 years in the 90s?
1992 was 100 years
Dude,
for them.
Was that the year they had the Olympics in Atlanta? Or was that 96?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Man, what kind of Coca-Cola merch were they pumping out for that? Let's
see, oldest operating USA company.
We got to make it, we have to make it before we even have our 10-year anniversary here. We have to make it to what, 2028?
No, we started in 19.
So 2029. You're going to be in your
6 years.
30s, bro.
I'll be 2029.
32.
I'll be 32.
Gross. I'll be 30.
The oldest operating companies in North America. Let's see.
These lists are usually fascinating. I have to get my Gatorade. I don't listen. I almost died 2 days ago. I had the worst stomach bug known to mankind. It eradicated my soul, basically. My whole family just wiped us off the face of the earth. And my body is still in shock. I need my Gatorade.
The oldest companies in North America date back to the 16th and 17th centuries in Mexico. I'm trying to find the U.S. one. Okay, the oldest company in the USA that's still going today is Shirley Plantation, which started in 1638. Wow. So they're coming up on their 400th anniversary here. In 15 years, the Shirley Plantation will be coming up on their 400th. I have no idea. They're a tourist attraction and still a working plantation today. It's operated by Edward Hill, who founded its descendants still.
I want to know,
hundreds of years
what's
later.
the oldest, recognizable brand?
Shirley Hill Plantation. We got to see what this place does.
I want to find,
the historic Shirley. Now it's a historic, if you search it, it's in Virginia.
Where?
Charles City, Virginia. It's a historical place museum. I mean, their 400th anniversary is in 4 years. Right? Is that what I just said?
Honestly, dude, are we going? I feel like you
have to go to the 400th anniversary.
It's going to be a blast. If you
No, it's in 10 years. It's in 15 years.
All right, well, we'll put that on our calendar.
I'll put that on a calendar when we're 40, when I'm 40.
If you own that title of oldest, then you don't need to function anymore. Just be a museum.
I'd say that's what they are.
Yeah, just be the oldest and have people.
They're located on the north bank of the James River in Charles City County, Virginia.
Wow.
Between Richmond and Williamsburg.
That's some serious heritage right there.
This says established 1613, which means we missed the 400th anniversary.
But also, what are the I guess they would have existed during the founding of America. So what am I saying?
But now this one says built 1723. So what the frick? When did they start?
I'm trying to find
Oldest public company. Let's search that. That should help.
Dixon Ticonderoga, the pencil company, 1795.
That's probably the oldest.
That's the oldest one. And Jim Beam, they make like the bourbon, 1795.
The oldest.
J.P. Morgan Chase.
Yeah, that's got to be real old.
1799.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's gonna be real old.
Dude, what? Colgate, 1806. Can you imagine?
I thought they didn't brush their teeth back then.
Working for a corporation. They weren't always a toothpaste company, Hunter. It's actually started in New York City, and they sold soaps and candles. And
fascinating.
They merged with Palm Olive in 1928. I guess they were mostly soap, and they did toothpaste. They didn't start doing toothpaste until 70 years later.
Wow.
And now they're like the toothpaste people. Fascinating. That's even crazier to think about. Like, what if 60 years from now we just like find a new shtick?
We're just the toothpaste people.
That's what I'm saying. Like 70 years from now, we're like, this toothpaste thing's gonna work out, and then we become way bigger than you ever were.
We're 93, and then we become your go-to toothpaste company.
Yeah, Citibank 1812.
IBM's 1911.
There's some old banks.
Banks are where we should have looked.
Macy's is 1843.
Let's just search oldest operating bank.
I can't imagine it's J.P. Morgan Chase.
That's the oldest operating one still.
I think so.
Banca Monte dei Paschi di Siena,
U.S.
1472, in the Tuscan city of Siena.
I guess you could say they've got old money.
Yeah, honestly.
I can't imagine working for a company with history like that, like where the founders of the company and then their sons and their sons and their sons and like there's such a heritage there. That's insane.
The bank has had mounting. This article was written a while ago. This bank might have shut down.
No, dude, don't say that.
So, the bank was created to offer loans to quote unquote poor or miserable or needy people.
Dang.
And I don't know if that's the best way to describe your. Well, I guess in 1472, maybe that was the best way to describe the market.
There's like plagues going on. Like, need a loan.
Yeah. And it soon expanded its operations throughout the entire country after Italy was unified. While it has managed to survive all these years, the bank has had mounting problems since the 2008 financial crisis when it was forced to recapitalize. In 2013, the bank confirmed a loss of 730 million euros.
That's not good.
Like many banks, it has scrambled to raise capital to avoid getting shut down.
I do have to imagine that a lot of these old banks probably had a tough run-in.
Today, it's the fourth largest commercial and retail bank in Italy. But like, is it still there? Banca Monte. I'm just copy that. Just like I'm copy. I don't like go to their website.
Where are they based?
Italy.
Wow, that's exciting. I had an idea for something we should do.
You can buy stock in them, only $1.92 a share.
Should we get stock?
No.
Okay. I think what we should do for next year, like since the new year's starting, I think like our office New Year's resolution is we should have a bunch of things that we only do once a day and just like add up. And I think there's a few things you could do, like fun things, like you have a board game. It sits in the corner. It's Monopoly or whatever. And you only do one turn a day for the year. And then you have things like, what if we had like a stock fund and like every day we put even 50 cents in it and it's all just like little dumb stuff and we just see what happens. And like maybe one of these, like we put something in that bank and then maybe one of these days something goes crazy. We just do it every day for the whole year.
But why not just put $365 in day one?
That's not as exciting.
And then just put it all into one thing.
It's not, let me be clear. This is not a smart plan. This is a fun plan.
So when you were saying it, I was thinking like, oh, like at 11 o'clock an alarm goes off and we all do 10 push-ups.
But that could be a thing too, though. So
we have to do 10 push-ups a day for 365 days?
Yeah, that could be a thing too. Like but I'm just saying, like, I think like it's so easy to like just do one thing. And like, some things are harder than others. But if you're doing like a board game, think about how electric that would be if we had a board game that went on all year. How many turns are...
Board game's genius.
How many turns are in the average Monopoly game? We got to find out.
We just played Monopoly... we played Monopoly not yesterday, 2 days ago, Tuesday.
So you probably get 20 to 30 turns per player, but what if you only did one turn? So like Monday, it's my turn. Tuesday, it's your turn. Then we might be able to stretch it out a little bit to like...
Until we need to like negotiate a trade. The average game of Monopoly takes 30 turns per competitor. So 120
I'd like to just say really quick that Jason just won the weekly.
Yeah, and he shredded.
He beat Nico.
He shot a 49.
I mean, what the heck?
I mean, look at his front nine. He shot
dominated.
2, 3, 4 under on the front. He shot a 23 front nine.
That's like better than I've ever done there.
Yeah.
All right.
Nico choked the back.
What's the Monopoly situation?
120 turns would be the average of 4 if 4 people are playing.
Okay. So if we had a 4-person game and we did like 1 turn a day, we might not get it done in a year.
No, if you had a 4-person, it's 120 across all 4.
Oh, across all 4.
It'd be like half a year. Or if everyone did 1 turn a day, you could average a game a month.
That's not nearly as long. It has to be a longer play than that. 120 days. Now we're starting to talk a little bit. But I think it'd be.
Well, but
think about how funny it'd be to watch you slowly and agonizingly die.
If we did 1 move per day, yeah, because towards the end, what would happen is like 2 people are probably going to have like 55, 60 moves because like someone's going to get out early. It's like one month in, someone's out.
Think about how funny it's going to be when like throughout the entire day, somebody's trying to get you to trade your park place.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, just give me $500 for
it's
the
gonna
blue
it'll
and
like
it's yours.
it'll like find its way into our monthly matches. Like you miss this putt, I'll give you park place. That's what I'm saying, dude. I think we gotta do it. I think it'd be so funny.
I'm fine with Monopoly, but you're not gonna be here next week.
Remote. It's remote.
Well, I'll FaceTime you in for you to make your move.
It'll have to be a remote turn. It's no big deal. I mean, the opening move, like the thing is, like I literally might roll, land on a chance, and that's my turn. Like that's it for the day.
I think I'm playing Monopoly again tonight. Tyler Stout's in town, my friend.
I'm gonna have to brush up on my Monopoly strategy because there is important strategy to Monopoly.
There is, and so we played with him and his fiance. Is that still recording? It is. Him and his fiance.
Did you win?
No, I lost to Kent. Kent took it down.
What went wrong?
I just couldn't get a set in time. I ended up trading with Kent for both of our first sets of the game. He got the reds, I got the blues.
And his just hit.
And his hit a few times more than me, and the reds are more expensive. And then he was able to get the oranges. I had an orange that I had traded to get the second blue so I could accomplish my third blue.
Yeah.
He had the other orange. I traded it to Stout. Stout traded him the orange, and then Kent landed on the third orange, which was still just available. So by luck, he got his second set. So then he owned that whole corner. And then once he owned the corner, he eventually took over the yellows, and it was history.
What happens to me more in Monopoly than my own fault, and like I'm not amazing at Monopoly, but what happens a lot of time is if you're playing with anybody who's just not on their game and doesn't really realize what's happening, I've played with so many people that give up.
Oh, we don't let it happen.
No, not bad trades. But first of all, what are you talking about? You don't let it happen.
We yell like hardcore. Like Katie.
I will too, but sometimes people just don't care.
No,
because like
it'd be tough to play with us and you not care.
I don't necessarily see bad value trades a lot, but what will happen is somebody will allow somebody to get a stretch or a corner of sets where it's like, I don't care if that trade is a good value for you. If you give them that corner or that stretch, we're all toast. Like that is how you win Monopoly, by just having death road.
Yeah.
And just
Kent calls it
draining.
Kent Alley.
Yeah. You just drain people. Like if you cannot give that up. Like it's one thing if somebody has their one little set here and one on the other side of the board, but the second it's one whole stretch of the board and
they're just gonna hit them.
They're inevitable. You're toast. You're all toast and you're going to go bankrupt. So and they're just going to pour into it.
What was funny is I was trying to trade my sister-in-law. We used to play Monopoly every Monday. It was me, Stout, Kent, and Katie. Kent and Katie are my brother and sister-in-law. Every Monday we'd do milkshakes and Monopoly. Everyone would come over.
The freak?
We'd put a bunch of ice cream into blender, make some milkshakes, and then we'd play a game of Monopoly every single Monday. So we know how each other play. And so Katie knows that if I'm offering her a deal, that she shouldn't take it because I'm the benefactor of the deal.
Yeah.
So Katie refuses to trade with me. Even like there's times where I need a property so bad, I'll pay $1,000 for the property. Yeah. And like, that's always a good deal.
Right.
Because I'm risking everything for this one property. If I typically in that scenario, if I land on someone that I owe $20 to, I can't pay it.
Yeah, I spend super heavy in that game.
And so that's like the type of deal I end up having to make with Katie, and she still won't take it. So her fiance or her boyfriend, they're not engaged yet.
That's a compliment though, because there are some people in board games. My wife acts this way towards me in a lot of games, where they will never trade with you because they just assume you're taking advantage of them.
Yeah, which a lot of times, to be fair, in Monopoly, like
sometimes you're not though. Sometimes you're like, no, this is a risk on my part, and they don't believe you.
They don't care.
It's so funny.
So Katie though, she really wanted. I'm trying to remember what it was. She had one yellow. I had traded with Stout's fiance and Stout for the other 2 yellows because she had the second blue that I needed to trade with Kent to get our first sets going. So a lot of moving pieces were going on. But what she also really needed was the other blue, the dark blue. Mm-hmm. She loves Park Place and Boardwalk. That's why she loses every game. Yeah, she loves those two. I'm like, no one hits them.
The rest of that road is the better spots.
She loves that. So her boyfriend had that. So I'm trying to sell. He wants to negotiate with her. I'm trying to negotiate with her.
How can Ethan negotiate when he doesn't talk to you guys?
That's true. No, he talks now. It's been a year now. He talks. So I am talking to Ethan. I'm talking to Katie, and I'm telling her like $600. I'll give you the 2 yellows. Reasonable deal.
Reasonable.
You give me $600, or from her I wanted $400 and a light blue for the 2 yellows.
Yeah.
Very reasonable deal. Ethan was like, she wouldn't even look at me, wouldn't even talk to me. I'm like, okay.
That's so
I'm
funny,
like, I look over at Ethan. I said, Ethan, if you give me $600 and promise to trade me the light blue if you get it, I'll give you the 2 yellows.
Wow.
So like if you get, because what I wanted him was once he had the 2 yellows, then he could work a deal with Katie to get that light blue, and then it's mine. So I promised him. And so that's what I was working that deal. And he's looking at me, and he just like looks at me, thinks about it for a second, goes, yeah, I'll do it. I'm like, all right, sick. So I hand him the properties, and he takes the properties and is handing me the money. And about that time, Katie decides that she wanted to work with me. Deal's done. I already handed it off. So she reaches in and grabs everything and just bends all the cards up. I'm like, Katie, the deal's done. I was like, I gave you 5 minutes, and you just stared at me like I was like you're a deer in headlights. I made a deal with Ethan. As soon as he gets that light blue, it's mine. She's like, well, he's not getting a light blue. I'm like, that's fine. I got $600. I'll find some other properties. So then I traded for a railroad. Now I own 3 railroads. Now every time someone's laying on me,
railroads can be dirty, dude. Yeah,
I love the railroads. So now Katie lands on me once, $100 to me. Hits another railroad, $100 to me. I'm like, I'm fine. I'm like, I'm parking here. Eventually you're gonna go bankrupt. I'm gonna get what I want anyways. And so then she's like, fine, Ethan. So she makes a deal with Ethan. Then we trade, and I ended up not being able to complete the second set. So I lost.
I love like Monopoly. The reason why I can like Monopoly at its core is a pretty basic game. But the reason why games like Monopoly, why Settlers of Catan, games like that intrigue me is because trading exists. And because you can just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, because like Monopoly, there are probably technical rules to trading.
But there's so many house rules.
Yeah, it's way funnier to be like, I'll literally give you $10 out of my pocket if you give me that property right now. Like that is what makes Monopoly great. So, and watching that happen as a competitor is like heart-wrenching.
I got my, so I had the light blues. I got the light blues way too late in the game. Obviously, you want to get the light blue or brown early in the game to be able to fund the rest of your properties.
Right.
I got the light blue way too late, but no one was trading. So I finally built hotels on my light blues. Ethan comes around, lands on the last one, so he owes me $600. He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have it.
So he's looking at it. Mortgage. He has like 200, but he owned the set of browns, light browns. And so I was like, Ethan, you give me the 2 light browns, we'll wash it. You owe me nothing. And he looked at me, and then everyone's like, don't let him do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. He'll own that whole road. Don't do it. I'm like, either that or you can mortgage them. You know, you might be able to pay me. If not, I'm going to get them anyways. I'll unmortgage next turn. I was like, or if you want to stay in the game, just hand me the 2 light browns.
You hand them to me now, or I'll take them from you when they're foreclosed.
That's basically, I was like, and if you wait, I was like,
that is so
I always
funny,
start a
dude.
countdown. I'm like, you got 5 seconds or the deal's off. And I'll go 5, 4. He's like, yeah. And so he handed them to me. And then instant hotels on both, which once you get hotels, it's like $450, $250. So now I had a little row, but Kent already had his corner set.
That
and the
is
orange
so
and the reds
funny.
are so overpowered.
I've never even thought of that play. Like, you don't owe me anything if you give me this.
Yeah. Well, once you have hotels, because Ethan, the poor guy, was like 10 turns into this game, like went around the board multiple times, had no property.
Dude, that is like That is the thing. The only thing about Monopoly that can be so frustrating is you can just not land on.
But his luck turned.
Bummer.
His luck turned. He ended up getting the yellows. He had 6 houses across the yellows, so 2 on each. And I now have the whole front strip. Kent has the orange and red, so this corner. Ethan owned the yellow. So basically, if you go around the board, you're hitting someone.
Yeah.
Ethan, once he had that and like set it up, went around the board probably 6 times without landing on Kent or I. He was jumping from
That's
chance.
so frustrating.
He was jumping from chance to community chest over and over everywhere he went. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So he was just loading himself up. But he was getting very cash rich, but there was no properties left. So then Katie went out to, or no, Katie ended up being she hung around. Stout went out to Kent. Carson went out to me. And then Ethan finally hit Kent and didn't have enough. And so he hit Kent twice in a row. That's what it was. He hit the orange and then rolled and hit the red. And back to back. So he went out to Kent. Once he went out to Kent, then Kent owned the orange, red, yellow. So then you really weren't getting past Kent. So then I went out to Kent next. And then Kent put hotels on my blue and brown. The pink, Virginia Avenue, one of the pinks never got bought. So the pinks were just out of the game. Yeah. But then at that point, Kent owned all 4 railroads. The brown, the pink, the orange, the red, and the yellow. And all Katie had was the greens, but she had to mortgage them, and the 2 dark blues. So it was over.
They need to make a Monopoly game. Maybe this already exists, but they need to make a game where there's some kind of stock trading involved to where like you can invest in properties. And like, let's say I put $100 on dark blue and I'm banking that it's either going to get landed on or purchased soon to like up its price. Then after like a certain amount of turns, it like goes down or something. Like that would be electrifying if there was a way to invest your money.
That would be fascinating.
Just add another, or you could do it 2 ways. You could do it that way where it's super comprehensive, or you make it like a day trading system that's super random, and you just have like some kind of like little screen, and it just has like random. It has like made up Monopoly stocks, and it's just random. So like you can put your money in, and it might go up or it might go down, and you just have to pull it out. And you can only pull it out on your turn. So you might be like 3 turns away watching it crash into the dumpster.
Monopoly had, and I've played it.
They have a credit card game.
Well, they had a stock game.
Oh.
I forget what it was called. Oh, this wasn't what I was looking at, but they have Monopoly Stock Exchange.
So what the heck?
I've never seen that.
How does that work?
Electronic device changes the game dynamics to give players investment options.
So that's what you want. Literally what I just described?
I think so. Monopoly Stock Exchange.
Are we getting
2001.
this? 2001?
And like it's like a.
Okay, that's literally what I was describing. Does it like just randomly go up and down like stocks?
I don't know. Let me go onto Amazon. That's not what I was saying. There was a card game that Monopoly did that sucked. But
something tells me that this thing is like probably super rare or something. I just think that would add a layer to Monopoly that would be so funny. Oh, then maybe it'd be super frustrating if somebody's like about to lose and they just hit a random lucky stock and you're like, well, that's the stupidest thing ever. Because it does add a bit of
Monopoly
randomness.
has the longest game ever. Classic gameplay with extended play board game. That sounds fascinating. Monopoly Ultimate Banking Edition. What is that?
Does that one have the cards?
What does this have? What's new in this? It has a banking unit. So this is one with cards, which that's obviously that. Was that all that's different? Is just bank cards replace cash?
I can't decide it. Like
my dad, mom owned. It was like called Ultimate or something like that, but it had like the white circle in the middle, and you used the cards. It was cool.
I can't decide if it'd be.
I like having cash more.
I like the cash. I can't decide if it'd be really satisfying though. If I was like had a little reader and I was like, here you go, swipe away and just watch somebody's card get declined. Like that'd be electrifying.
I think you go in the negative, in the one I had. You like you put it in, it's like you're now negative. I just want to see a big million.
Decline. Like
Monopoly Stock Exchange.
There's some tells me they don't make this game anymore. It probably costs like $2,000. It sounds.
I couldn't find it on Amazon. Monopoly Stock Exchange. Okay, well there's a card expansion, an exciting expansion for Monopoly, $150. Let me read the back though. Play the market and speculate in real estate at the same time. This expansion allows you to buy stock and collect dividends, but beware, there may be another stock market crash. Each stock exchange contains new chance at community chest cards, a stock exchange corner space for the Monopoly game board, stock shares for 6 different companies, and rules for playing. Fascinating. This isn't the 2001 one though. I need to go on eBay apparently.
I want to buy stocks on Monopoly.
The electronic one looks like exactly what you were talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That would be so much fun.
Monopoly Stock Exchange. 1937 Monopoly Stock Exchange add-on. $1,800.
Let me see it.
It's this, they had like add stock exchange to your Monopoly. It's like a whole nother
Okay, well that's clearly not it.
But I mean, there's a $25 reprint from original.
Yeah, but I want the electric one.
I know you do.
You know what I want.
$69.
You found it?
Trader Stock Exchange French 2001 game.
This game is rare.
A vous de jour, a golden boy.
Maybe somebody's made an app or a website for this because this would not be difficult to make in theory.
No,
right?
It's a whole nother game. What?
Huh? Monopoly.
I mean, this is all in French, so I can't read it.
Exchange.
Okay, I found the Spanish one,
New Monopoly.
the Dutch one, the German one.
I might be onto something. New Monopoly Stock Exchange download for Windows. Cool add-on for Monopoly fans. New Monopoly Stock Exchange is a special extension for the computerized version of Monopoly that adds a whole new dimension to the game. In addition to playing Monopoly in the usual way, this add-on provides extra elements such as the ability to purchase shares in the property of other people if they need a little extra cash to keep them afloat. That's fascinating.
So Monopoly Stock Exchange is a whole nother game. Like the board's different.
What?
Fascinating. Be a wheeler dealer on the Monopoly trading floor. I'm trying to see if they have a picture of the back. Here we go. It's just like playing on the real stock exchange with the all-new Monopoly game. Become the president of as many companies as possible whilst you work your way around the board. Monitor share prices closely and buy when the time is right. The more shares you buy, the more dividends you receive when passing go. Oh.
But this Board Game Geek gives it a 5.7 out of 10, which probably is why it's not made anymore.
Build offices and head offices on your companies to watch those share prices soar. So it's just the essence of the game is the exact same as normal Monopoly because you build up your companies by putting houses and hotels, but then you plug that into this middle thing, and that kind of like randomizes how companies are going up and down. So when you pass go, you get different dividends.
Dude, they need to rework that.
They're close up there.
In the era of like everybody talking about stocks,
they need to have a Monopoly
Bitcoin,
crypto.
That's what I'm saying. Like they need to be capitalizing on this. Come on, Monopoly, do better. The only Monopoly I ever had that was like different was Here and Now, where they had everybody vote on. It was probably around 2010. They had everybody vote on what properties they should feature in the game, and it's the same game except the properties you could buy Walt Disneyland. You could buy.
I've had that, yeah.
Fenway Park was like one of the Park Place items. You know, that kind of stuff. The Dallas Cowboys Stadium had just been built, and that was one of the properties.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's a cool idea.
The game pieces, like there's a Starbucks cup.
The Monopoly for a long time was off the App Store. They deleted their app completely.
I have it on the Switch.
It's back. It was only $5. And you can now, of course I got it. So you can play just for fun. If you put them on hard difficulty, it's a pretty challenging game.
I've played Monopoly on the Switch against the CPU, and it is rigged. It is so
Really?
rigged. Their dice rolls are so clutch.
I haven't
every
lost
time.
yet.
Dude, I get crushed.
But you can do online with friends, and you can FaceTime. So like the app all has video chat. So like everyone would be on
That's
camera.
built into the app?
It's built in, yeah. That was like one of the things that they were promoting. I just wanted it because I want Monopoly back on my phone.
That's sick, dude. We're going to get some remote Monopoly games.
But you can play
going?
some. Yeah, let me pull up so you can I can show you a picture of how they used it. Monopoly now with group video chat. Give me some pictures.
We need to be playing more turn.
See, like they're all like there
That's so sick.
on the sides. You can like see them.
As a company, we need to be playing way more like turn-based app games. It's so much fun. Like, remember?
Oh, we didn't do Words with Friends.
I'll tell you who's good at Words with Friends. If you ever want to get your butt kicked in Words with Friends, just play my dad in Words with Friends.
I can imagine.
He used to play like competitive Scrabble back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, and he's legit at Words with Friends. So everybody, he plays Wordle now. That's his new one.
Okay, yeah.
And he dominates that. But Words with Friends, I quit after I started playing against him.
I had played my my math teacher, Mr. Woe, played like everyone in Words with Friends.
Yeah.
So like if you were in his math class, you played with him in Words with Friends, and like He was so good that we would like meet in homeroom.
People are legit at that game.
We'd meet in homeroom and like all compare our boards and try to figure out words to beat him.
Some people's brains just work differently. And the thing about like my dad, one of the things that makes him so good at it is he used to own a Scrabble dictionary. And because he played competitive Scrabble, he knows the 2-letter and 3-letter words like the back of his hand. So like he knows where to fit those into the equation, and that is a huge advantage in that game. Now I will say the one thing about Words with Friends that he doesn't like and that kind of sucks is you can just put words in there and just like keep going until it says it's a word, which like a huge part of Scrabble is if you lay a word down and they challenge it, you can lose a turn.
Yeah.
So that is, and I will say that makes the game dramatically easier.
No, yeah, I used to just type. I was just like, is this a word?
Right.
No. Is this a word? No.
But
is this
like turn-based games are so much fun. And like, remember Draw Something?
Yeah.
Bike Race.
I just deleted Draw Something off my phone.
Just get it back. Like, what are we doing with our lives? Why aren't we playing more turn-based games?
We need to get that going in the Discord.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We need to get like poker. We get all those going. I think I'm making a Discord channel today.
All right.
Turn-based apps.
That's the plan. If you're not in our Discord yet, the link's in the description down below. Trevor's going to make it. Turn-based apps. We'll all be in there.
You know what's a fun game I got for Christmas is the new Switch sports game. It's like the Wii Sports for the Switch. Have you played it?
No.
Pretty good.
My Switch is up there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll give it a rating based on the game. So first game, volleyball. I haven't had a chance to play it super competitively yet. I was just playing on CPU, but I'll say it has a lot of potential. So I'll give it a B+ for now. A lot of potential in that game. Badminton sucks. Just not fun. I'll give it a D+. Then you have soccer. It's basically Rocket League. Pretty sick game. It looks like it'd be very fun to play against people. I will give that a A-.
Nice.
Bowling is literally the same as previous bowling, which is good. So I'll give that an A+. Golf, same as the other golf. So that I would give that game like an A. And then I think the last one was the sword fighting game. And the sword fighting game actually surprised me how fun it was. I'd give that one like an A. Overall, the game's pretty fun. It's a pretty solid game. I was impressed.
Nice.
Switch Sports. They kept the nostalgia. The song, still the same song.
That's key.
Very key. They know their audience. They allow you to play as a me.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I downloaded this Golf Club Tycoon app. I don't want to open it right now because I hired I didn't hire. I used a bunch of gems to get an offline manager for today. So 10 hours it's playing the game for me. I didn't put any money into it, but you basically own a golf club. Mm-hmm. And you get to like buy each hole. And once you get like, I need $473 million to buy hole 9.
I can't open the app though because I've got an offline bot playing for me.
Yeah.
How sad is that? We got our smartphones, our golf Tycoon app, and we can't even open them.
I mean, I could open it. I just don't want to mess it up.
That's so funny.
Because this morning, I've been saving up all my gems because you get gems for like different, like once you spend like 20 million gold in the game, you get gems and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd saved them all up to spend them on this. And so, or you could have just watched a bunch of ads, but, so I spent them to get this offline manager for today. And so I just want the moment when I get home from work, once my offline manager's been going for about 10 hours, I'll open it and just see like $250 million.
That's huge.
Just ready to roll. But I need 400 some before I can build hole 9. Then once I build hole 9, I can host a tournament at my course.
There are only a few apps that have like driven me to desperation when it comes to like the having to watch ad things, like get money. There's this game, it's called New Star Soccer. And basically the premise of the game is like a soccer career mode, but it's very simple. Like the gameplay was very simple. Like you'd like tap on the ball to like kick it and aim your passes and stuff. Very simple game, but very difficult game. And therefore, like unless you were, like if you didn't spend any money on the game, unless you were playing the game perfectly, like you were on the brink of destruction of all times because you had to have energy. So you had to buy these energy drinks. You had to have like status. You had to have relationships with people. And if you weren't spending money, like if you like, it was so stressful. If you like messed up a goal, an easy goal, you're like, that might just cost me my career. Like it was so stressful, dude. Like, oh my gosh. And so that game, like that drove me to insanity a few times thinking like, I need money somehow. And then like, I don't know, like I would always make it to a certain point and then be like, I'm toast and I'd have to quit.
Dang.
Yeah, it was tough.
That's tough. All right, well, I don't know how much record time's left on the camera, so I think we end the show there.
Okay.
Comment down below if you have any turn-based games you recommend, and then hop in the Discord and see if you can beat Trevor at Words with Friends.
Yeah.
We'll see you there.